the game, cause see the boxing voice.
I'm looking to really sit down and get a real nice phone call conversation with Al Hammond, and just looking forward to making something happen that's worthwhile. At this point, financially, everything's almost worthwhile right now. I'm in a beautiful position in my career, but outside of that, you guys know that as a fighter, I hold a certain level of pride, and I can only deal with so much of the politics. So I would like to make something that's meaningful on my behalf, and meaningful for the fans as well before this year ends. I think the Guerrero fight was a great opener this year. The Collazo fight was a so-so fight, and I would like to end with a great ender. So possibly Amir Khan, possibly Kell Brook, Sean Porter just won a fight with Adrian Broner. There's a lot of options, but I'm actually a little interested in mixing it up with them UK boys, those mates over there, and see how they throw blows.
Why do you think Floyd? What do you think?
What will be the problem with you going overseas and fighting Kell Brooks, who refuses to come here and defend against his local boys? He's supposed to be negotiating with Bam Bam Rios. So I don't understand that.
Yeah. Well, see, if you ask Keith Thurman what the problem is, to Keith Thurman, there is no problem. You know what I'm saying? I'll fly anywhere and handle my business. You know what I'm saying? We don't look for 12-round fights anyways. And me and Kell Brook would be a great fight. Would it sell better over there? Would it sell better over here? I don't know. How much interest does Al have going over there? Kell already came over here and fought Sean Porter. He says he has interest in fighting me. Does he have enough interest to come fight me on American soil? He still is a champion in his prime, right? And I'm a young champion myself. So we definitely have time to make that fight happen. And it's one that I look forward to having if it happens this year or next year.
Keith, when you were in Vegas, you were talking about fighting. Mayweather was saying that he wants you to fight Errol Spence. Has anything happened since then, or is that just talk?
I mean, that's complete talk. He threw it in the mix so that we can stop talking about Keith Thurman versus Floyd Mayweather. It's called trying to get the monkey off his back. You know what I'm saying? It's more like a gorilla with these hands. But Errol Spence is a great, talented young man. From my perspective, he's exactly where I was 3 years ago. When I first opened up on HBO. He had this nice little come out on NBC. Then he wants to call out one of the top up-and-coming welterweights in the welterweight division. With all the welterweights in the welterweight division that Errol Spence could call out, he wants to call out Keith Thurman? Uncle Floyd Mayweather told him to do it. Yes, Uncle, no problem. I'll do what you ask. But whenever that boy deserves an actual title shot against a real champion, I'll be here, and I'll be willing to give him that.
Why do you think Floyd hasn't put you on that list, that short list of guys that he wants to face?
I mean, it's why does the king, chop off people's heads? You know what I'm saying? Because he can. At the end of the day, he has so much power. The networks don't have the gusto. They love the money he brings in. They love the revenues. His numbers are beyond any other fighter's numbers. You know what I'm saying? So everyone says, yes, sir, Mayweather, sir, Floyd, sir, we love you, sir. Whatever you want to do, sir. They accommodate Floyd. And as long as they're going to keep doing that, first off, we know that they're accommodating Floyd as soon as they anointed him with the super title. I mean, I'm the realest fighter you guys are going to see in a very long time, because I don't mind talking about boxing for the way that it is. There's beautiful things about the sport of boxing, and there's ugly things about the sport of boxing. And the second they made the shift and they anointed him with the super WBA title, I talked to somebody, might have been somebody in this room, who had to tell me that I'm now the current champion of the WBA. Regular, hyphenated, regular champion. what's a regular champion? Because there's a super champion out there? Okay, so what's a super champion? I had to Google this stuff. I don't know what a super champion is.
Way to make money.
You know what I'm saying? So within the first paragraph of reading what a super champion is, it clearly states that the super champion is not obligated to fight any mandatory fighters. And everybody know the day that I beat Chavez, Diego Chavez. When I beat Diego Chavez, I became the WBA interim world titleist, which made me the #1 contender for whomever was holding on to the WBA world title, which it went from Paulie Malignaggi to Adrian Broner to Marcos Maidana to Floyd Mayweather, and stuck with Floyd Mayweather. 4, 5, 6 months go by and they anoint him the super and give me the regular, so that he never had to hear the words, "Are you going to fight your mandatory contender, Keith one-time Thurman?"
Did you ever make an overture to them to try and put together?
I did. I talked to the dude who is affiliated with the WBA and their sanctioning body, and I said, "When are you going to force the mandatory? When are you going to force the mandatory? The #1 contender deserves a shot at whomever holds that title." And the title holder was Floyd Mayweather. And I asked, when are you going to enforce the mandatory? And I technically got no clue.
Why not fight stylistically? Because you've metamorphosized stylistically into like a puncher, straight up puncher, and you've evolved as a boxer. So where are you trying to be stylistic? Are you trying to be versatile? Are you trying to be more of a boxer? How are you approaching your craft?
I definitely want to be versatile. I want to be like, I don't want to just be a Rubik's Cube, which is already hard to solve, right? But I want to be the guy solving the Rubik's Cube. So that means if we have 3 rounds, and within those 3 rounds, you are showing me difficulty, right? He's moving a lot. I got to cut the ring off a little bit more. He's ducking down. Like I dropped Quintana with that body shot in round 1, right? But as soon as he got back up, he got on his bike heavy, right? And then he was ducking down real low and doing awkward things, making it hard to hit him with clean punches. It took a few rounds. I had to solve that puzzle, and we solved it within three rounds from the first round. It got stopped in the 4th round, you know? And that's the kind of fighter that I'm trying to be. Round by round, I'm going to break you down mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm going to solve the problem that you're trying to present to me. And, you know, I'm going to present a problem to you that, you know, in a KO fashion is most likely going to be unsolvable. You might want to go back to the drawing board and just take a rest.
Hey, Keith, I'm going to fight Errol Spence and then get on TV on the undercard and say, hey, tell the world that, hey, this guy is ducking me.
Hold on. First off, why are you acting like there's any benefit in fighting Errol Spence when he has fought nobody? So the only hype behind Errol Spence is the words that came out of Floyd Mayweather's mouth himself. See what I'm saying? He's not in the top 10. He's probably not even in the top 25. Wherever he is, you know, I mean, he's coming up, but I mean, he keeps finding these 1-week replacements, and he hasn't fought nobody. And you want Keith one-time Thurman, who's been working hard for 3 years, fighting everybody that they throw in front of me, to look down at the young buck? You want me to look down there and just prove to you that this fish, just because Floyd wants to grab a balloon, blow on it, and puff him up real big, I can pop that balloon quick, you know? But let's be honest and let's be real. 1, he does not deserve the fight. They're trying to say I don't deserve the fight with Floyd, but let's be real honest. I deserve the fight with Floyd more than Errol Spence deserves a fight with Keith one-time Thurman, okay?
Keith, you've heard all your little sing-alongs and jokes about you. You're sometime Keith Thurman. You know, you're not worthy. Is that a guy you're looking at going, I want him because he's a name, he gives me money, and he's a guy I can become a bigger star outside of the United States?
He's a great fight. He's a great fight for the name. He's a great fight for the fans. There's plenty of people that think Amir Khan has all the skills and talent to expose Keith one-time Thurman. So let's take care of that. You know what I'm saying? And let's be real. Let's be honest. Amir Khan has more to offer than Errol Spence. What does he have to offer? Absolutely
The
nothing.
only thing is that Floyd is not standing behind Amir Khan and
I'm exactly. Yeah. So how about I stand behind somebody and then get Floyd to fight that person because I feel like saying
make him
stuff.
put his foot in his mouth.
No, look, I don't mind making him put his foot in his mouth. Someone told me that he bet on Guerrero. I hope he did. I hope he lost that money. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind putting his foot in his mouth, but in reality, I'd rather put my own fist in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? So why am I gonna fight somebody who doesn't deserve the fight at this time? And it's just not logical. The only momentum to let's be real honest once again. If I should fight a fighter because someone just states that I should do it, then how come he doesn't fight me? Because I've been stated the day I hit HBO that I want Floyd Money Mayweather. The day I knock out a nobody and I call out a somebody, how come that somebody doesn't fight me? But this kid knocking out nobodies, calling out a somebody, but I should take that. Let's be real. Let's be honest. If you want to let's treat every fighter equally. You know what I'm saying? If you made me work, let him fight Diego Chavez. Let him fight any one fighter. Let him fight 1 to 2 fighters that I fought. And then let's really have this real conversation about Errol, the Truth Spence, whatever his name is. You know what I mean? If you're the truth, I speak truth. I got no problem fighting you. You, me, Al, we can all sit down at a table. I got no problem fighting you. Bring your Uncle Floyd. You know, and let's negotiate that the winner automatically fights him so that he proves to the world that he will fight any undefeated fighter, not just Latino fighters, which have a certain style that he's accustomed to since the amateurs. Please stop with these questions real quick because I'm getting heated. Because I keep it real and I keep it honest.
Have you talked to Al and Ellerby about a Mayweather fight at all?
There ain't no. Why I got to talk about an Ellerby?
Well,
we talked to Al Heyman. That's the only man to talk to. You know what I'm saying? And if Al ain't gonna do nothing, Al's not gonna put nothing on Floyd. Al works for all of his fighters. You gotta understand how difficult of a job that is, right? To work on the greater half of all of your fighters. That means if I want to fight him, but he don't want to fight me, he ain't gonna make the fight. You know, it's that simple.
Switching topics a bit. Obviously, we're here at the Danny Garcia Malignaggi fight.
Yeah.
Garcia's resume at 140, pretty solid.
Yeah.
Should he beat Malignaggi? Is that tight? Is that fight enticing enough for you, or big enough for you to take him on before the end of the year?
I mean, first you got to ask him if he's trying to fight another time before the end of the year, right? What's Danny's schedule going to look like, right? That's another thing for all these big fights is a lot of times it has to do with timing. You know what I mean? Both fighters have to be willing to get in camp around the same time and perform on the same date. You know, anybody. I mean, you should already know. Anybody that steps up from the swimming pool, from the 140 pool into the 147 pool, you know, I got my eyes straight locked up on them. Like, what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't really going to do nothing without talking about me eventually. Or you talking to them about me. So someone's going to talk about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a bad man. You know, I'm going to stay a bad man. I got nowhere to go but at the top. I plan on taking over the welterweight division. And even if I wasn't the best fighter in the welterweight division, you best believe that I'm one of the best, and I'm going to be testing everybody that steps into that ring, man. What I'm doing and what I've been doing is nothing new. And I'm only getting better at my craft, man. You guys are literally watching an intelligent fighter become more of an even more intelligent fighter, you know, who has devastating punching power. You know, I have really enjoyed evolving. My last fight, it got stopped in the 7th round without a knockdown, right? So some people wonder, you know what, oh, Thurman really didn't hurt him or whatever. You got to understand, some of these boys are tough, but when they take that hit, boom, and they try to come back, and they get that mean little face or whatever, like they ate that punch. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand. They're not eating regular punches. They're walking through bricks. And some fighters can take a brick. They might take 2 bricks. And I call those kind of fighters brick-headed. Okay? Now, what happens when you take one brick and another brick and you smash them together? Guess what? Both bricks start to crumble, right? That's why I have so many hand injuries, okay? That's why I've had shoulder injuries, because my power is so devastating that it doesn't only hurt my opponent, but it hurts the person that wields the power. It's physically overwhelming for my own body. So when Collazo was walking through some of those big punches, he was walking through bricks. In the 7th round, I know for a fact that I shook him up 3 times. He was already cut up. He got double cut. I was hitting him repeatedly, and he had enough damage, and he knew that he was not going to survive 5 more rounds in the ring with Keith One-Time Thurman.
Keith, what did you relish
that the one body punch, and then about 12 seconds after there was another one that put me in the same spot. Yeah. So there was 2 body punches. That first one was and then the second one was you know, they were not friendly, they were not pretty. From a sports perspective, especially on that slow-mo, it was beautiful, right? That was a beautiful punch, you know. But it actually landed because it was a well-timed punch. He was coming down. I was landing a lot. If anybody wants to go back and rewatch the 5th round, right? I was landing a lot of straight right hands. So I was getting very comfortable, which a right-hander, that's what they want. And we want to land the right hand against the southpaw. So I was getting very comfortable with that punch, and it was landing more frequently that round. Well, towards the end, the way his head was coming down, I was like, here it is again. Take it. I went to go take it. His head passed by. I missed the punch, and before I came in, he was already bringing the swing, and it came under the elbow. So if I simply just didn't extend myself, I would have been able to protect myself. But because I was extended in that moment, I was wide open. I suffered the body shot. I ate the body shot. I took the body shot, recovered from the body shot, and that's what champions do.
Do you think it's unfair?
It took the rest period, right? It took the rest period, and then for safety precaution on my own behalf, I took the first half of the 6th round off for 2 reasons. 1, my own safety. 2, to see how eager he wanted to come out and take advantage of what he just did to me, which he did not take advantage of the moment. So once when I realized he did not want to press further, and I gave myself a minute and a half in the 6th round, for the next minute and a half of that 6th round, you'll see instantly I go right back to work.
Keith, do you think it's unfair?
You relish knockouts. There's a record, the amateur record. She's like 176 titles.
Yeah.
Is that what you relish more doing than anything else? You look for knockouts, or they come in because of the strength?
It's that's why my name is One Time. Ben used to say all the time that nobody is going to take your power for 12 rounds. Now, that means is as long as I'm landing clean and effective blows, round after round after round after round, they most likely will not be there. When you watch the fights that I did go 12 rounds, those fighters, in comparison to everybody else I fought, had better defense. What's the number 1 rule in boxing? Protect yourself at all times. So when I do not produce a knockout, I say that it is not my bad, but the other fighter's good. That he was intelligent enough to protect himself at all times. You know, and with skill, that even when I try to force my will upon him, he was able to stay calm, cool, collective, and protect himself.
Keith, do you think it's unfair that, you know, when Floyd got hit and rocked by Mosley, that he got heralded for making it through that round, and the popular opinion is that you lost stock when Louis hit you with the body shots, and that you had a bad fight, even though you got the knockout ultimately in the TKO? You think that's unfair?
You know, I mean, let's be honest. How many of these people are making comments that actually boxed before a day in their life? Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? So, in my honesty, I'm going to recap and educate you on what Keith One Time Thurman is all about. I'm all about that one time. And one time represents my punching power, but it also represents the sport of boxing as a whole. That any man who puts on 8-ounce gloves versus another man with 8-ounce gloves is subjectable to being hit with one shot that might change the whole perspective of the fight. That's the beauty of the sport. That's what people come to watch. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you can cheer for whoever you came to cheer for, you know. But if you don't know that fighter personally, if you ain't an uncle, auntie, friend, if you didn't go to high school with that dude, I'm pretty sure all you really care about is seeing a good fight. Because I've seen it tons of times where someone's supposed to be in one corner, but as soon as the other dude's putting on the action, they start cheering for him because all they want to see is action. All you want to see is the gladiators. You want to see both men get physically hurt. Otherwise, why was Brandon Rios versus whoever the fight of the year like 3-4 years ago? That ugly fight, right? Because they both stood there and beat each other up, and the fans love that. The phone booth fights, the fans love that. Mike Alvarado. Right. But the sport is called boxing, and the definition of boxing from somebody who's been boxing since they were 7 years old is to hit and not get hit. But as I'm hitting you, I'm looking for that one punch that changes the whole fight. That's what Keith One-Time Thurman's about. 26-0 with 22 knockouts. Believe whatever you want to believe. Fight by fight, round by round, you'll understand that I am who I say I am.
Keith, two guys who've asked for a fight with you, I know. One of them is a guy him in camp, that's Monty. The other guy is Ruslan Plotnik. Are either of those guys on your radar in terms of if Khan fall through, if Mayweather keeps ducking you, are they on maybe the list of fighters you want to fight?
I mean, they possibly could be. I know. I think some people might really enjoy a Pronovikov fight. You know, you can just tell in the demeanor of how I'm answering this question that I'm not enthusiastic about it. You know what I'm saying? I have my eyes set somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Is it a possibility? Yes, it's a possibility. And if it is presented to me, I will diligently think about it and possibly consider it, especially weighing whatever else is on the table. What really matters is what's on the table. A lot of people don't know how fights get negotiated, but just to let you know what happened to me this year, when I got offered to fight Robert Guerrero, I was also offered to fight Chris Algieri, and I took Robert Guerrero. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who had a better resume, in my opinion. When I fought Bundu, I was offered Frankie Gavin, but I took Bundu, the undefeated European champion. You know, maybe it wasn't Frankie Gavin; it was some other kid from. Frankie Gavin's from the UK though, right? No, I was offered a fight with somebody from Canada. My bad. It wasn't Frankie Gavin. It was a fighter from Canada who had a decent record with 2 losses. You know what I'm saying? But Bundu had 0 losses. You know, so normally I weigh the scale and I pick my opponent based on whoever has the best resume on whomever was presented to me. Now, my last fight was the first time in my career where they said, Keith, we got something for you. I said, okay, well, what's on the table? They said, Luis Collazo. I said, all right, what's there? They said, well, we just kind of see Luis Collazo right now. There was one name brought up to me in the negotiation, and you can ask the Watsons, you can ask Sam and everything. When a fight is proposed to me, a real fight where I know I'm going to see a legitimate sheet of paper that's there to sign, I say yes. I've never said no to any fight. I'm a yes man. You know what I'm saying? I told people 1,000 times. I have an O, and I'm not afraid to let it go. If you can beat me, beat me. I remember when my mama used to beat me. I remember when my daddy used to beat me. Can you beat me? And yes, that was a long time ago.
Keith, if Berto shocks the world and gets that win, that makes him the top dog. And as you said, you attribute Berto to a lot of your own boxing skill. If he would become the top dog, he would be the guy you were aiming at for, correct?
You know, I would take a Berto fight. You know, I got no problem stepping in the ring with my boy Berto. I grew up imagining that there's no way to becoming world champion without going through Andre Berto. But before I made it up here, a few fighters started taking him out. You know what I'm saying? But he is making a comeback. He is changed his boxing style a little bit with Virgil Hunter. And, you know, we'll see what happens with Berto in his career.
Keith, you forced Julio Diaz into retirement. his previous 2 fights, Amir Khan and Sean Porter struggled against him. Do you ever get frustrated that that's kind of buried in the narrative of Mayweather's next opponent? You forced him to retirement, and they weren't nearly as impressive as you were.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit on that, because a lot of people, are a little weary about me taking that body shot from Collazo, right? And that, Thurman's exposed, just hit him in the body. Thurman's exposed, you know what I'm saying? So there's 2 things that matter in a fight. One, styles, right? But the other thing that really matters is how that fighter, the challenger and the champion, whomever, both fighters, what matters the most is that 8 to 10 week training camp. That's what matters the most, okay? And Collazo stated that he kind of fell short on his training camp when it came to the Amir Khan fight, okay? And that produced the performance that it produced, okay? Now, is it true? I can't say nothing about that. Only he can say something about it, and everybody can believe what they want to believe. But Amir Khan knocked down Luis Collazo 3 times. But Luis Collazo rose up and fought to the end. Amir Khan won by decision. Amir Khan fought Julio Diaz and got knocked down. So here Amir Khan dominates Luis Collazo. I take a body shot. I dominate Julio Diaz, and he takes a hit on the chin and gets dropped. So you can't just compare fighters on the measuring stick of, Manny Pacquiao dropped Oscar De La Hoya. Floyd didn't. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of stuff doesn't always matter. It's nice to compare. It's nice to have those fights where we have an opponent in common. And now, me and Amir, we have 2 common opponents. So we got a lot to talk about, Plus, he's running his mouth. You know what I'm saying? So that's a fight we can easily make happen. I got no problems with that. But I do believe that a lot of people do not understand what I've done in the past 3 years of my career, and they have not given me full credit. In 3 years, I made 3 fighters quit on the stool. How often do you see that happen? In 3 years, I've made 2 fighters retire. Announce retirement as soon as stepping out of the ring with me. Carlos Quintana and Julio Diaz. 2 great ex-world champions. So I already do know. There's no debate about it. I deserve the spot that I am in today, currently. Is there work to do? Yes, there's work to do. But there's time to do it in. This year ain't over. I'm ready to go back to work. I ain't worried about nothing, man. And I want to make something happen. Something special. I want to make a good fight happen. That's all I want is a good fight. I'm not here to fill up my bank account. You know what I'm saying? I know that's what a lot of people are here for, and we to a degree we should be here to fill up our bank accounts, because even though boxing is a sport and it's entertaining, the life of a fighter is not forever. You know what I'm saying? It's not forever. You got to be smart about it. That's one thing I do give to Floyd, is how smart he is about it. But his intelligence on the business side has withdrawn entertainment from a fan perspective. You know what I'm saying? But, he's still undefeated and one of the best athletes in the sport today.
What about going to the UK to fight Kell Brook? Is that something you want to do as far as fighting overseas and outside the United States? Have you considered that?
I'll consider anything if it's legit and on a contract. You know what I'm saying? I'm interested in the fight. I'm interested in Kell Brook, and I don't mind traveling, man. This is the world of boxing, But I don't know fully how my manager would fully feel about it. We really haven't talked about a Kell Brook fight. There hasn't been no legitimate negotiation. Kell keeps saying how he would love to fight Keith Thurman, how he's got no problem fighting Keith Thurman. But the day he beat Sean Porter, he said he wanted to fight Keith Thurman live on television. And the very next day, his own manager, whatever that dude's name is over there in the UK, straight up said, we are not fighting Keith Thurman. We are not defending our first title fight against Keith Thurman. And no matter how much Kell wants it, I don't think his manager wants to make the fight happen. I think they're enjoying the fact that they have a European champion that holds the IBF title, and I think they are having fun entertaining their fans over there in the UK with these fights that they're picking.
And you're the WBA world champion. A question a lot of fans have been asking is, why haven't you gone to the WBA as far as Floyd is the WBA super world? Why haven't
Because I already talked about it earlier. A super champion is not obligated to fight any mandatories. He has 0 mandatories. I cannot even if I wanted to go to the WBA, there is no power. He is above the power.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Wilder. So tune in. I'm gonna just stop it, retitle it, and go to Wilder.